DreamHack Masters Winter is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, Monster Energy, and MSI.
If that intro doesn't give you goosebumps, then you're not human. Welcome back to DreamHack Masters Winter. My name is Dinko. I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. We continue down the path of Europe, and Blair, we're just going to get right into things and take a look at that bracket and really talk us through that one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people are still gathering their jaws over what they witnessed right now. Astralis getting knocked down to the lower bracket by Godson. I think that's something none of us expected. We can talk about it a little bit later on. We talk about Group A first. We saw Heroic making quick work of Contact. It was a close series, though. Contact definitely putting up a fight. The first kind of upset Spirit 2-0 phase. They're going to be facing up against Heroic later on tomorrow. But coming up, it is, of course, going to be Complexity versus ENCE. And on the mainstream, it's going to be Cloud9 versus Gambit. And tomorrow in the lower brackets, Contact versus FaZe in elimination game. So yeah, I'm just waiting for the Complexity Cloud9 matchup tomorrow, if it does take place. But Group B, Dinko, this is where the surprises have just kept on coming. Liquid getting dropped down to the lower bracket by Mouse. Astralis getting knocked down to the lower bracket by Godsend. And one of these teams are going to go home early. Astralis or Liquid. That is just shocking to think about it.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We're waiting for the time finally where these American teams can come over and finally play against the European teams again. We looked for that Astralis Liquid game that we've just been deprived of this entire year, and one of them are going home immediately, Blair. Now that's just a little bit anticlimactic.
It is. You hate to see it, but at the same time, you can't take anything away from Godson. I think Vince and Tom, they were as shocked as we were. I'm sure everyone at home was shocked. Saw a tweet from Bimas, from Bimas, from Mouse Sports as well, who was kind of. We can get back to it later on because we do have the Twitch vote first. Complexity versus ENCE.
Take a vote and see who you guys think are going to be winning this one. I have a little idea of how I think things are going to go in terms of that Twitch chat, but you can go ahead and use the hashtags. For Complexity, hashtag COL. For ENCE, hashtag ENCE. Not too difficult at all. We'll be taking a look at the results a little bit later on. Now, Blake, coming into this matchup, it's definitely going to be very exciting. I think when you take a look at these two teams, there's a lot of storylines circulating about them, and two polarizing storylines, I'll say. You know, one team is on the up and up, and the other kind of rebuilding again.
Yeah, I don't know if you can even call it a rebuilding, right? It's just looking very shaky for the Finnish side. They've lost. Yeah. Well, Sergey, he's no longer playing. He's not even that into playing Counter-Strike anymore. But of course, we have Complexity, who are on the up and up, like you mentioned.
Yeah, Complexity.
I've only been with the team for about a month.
Against Cloud9, the Colossus versus the Juggernaut didn't go so well for the Juggernaut side, but for the most part, after adding JKS to this team, I think Complexity have just looked so solid. You know, when you take a look at losing a player like Obo, initially it's a big hit, it's a big problem for them moving forward, but when you take a look at the player they got to replace him, there's no doubt at this moment in time, but it's inarguable that JKS is an upgrade in terms of the invaluable experience he can bring to the team in comparison to Obo at this time.
Absolutely, and if you've been a fan of like this old 100 Thieves, ex-Renegades, Vox Emerald lineup, you've always waited to see what JKS could potentially do if he moves on to, well, a better team, right? Obviously, I personally wanted 100 Thieves to do much better, but unfortunately, it didn't quite pan out for them. But JKS and his team, I have to agree with you 100%. This is a team you have to keep an eye on. They've looked fantastic so far. Sure, they lost to Cloud9 recently. The entire Colossus versus Juggernaut memes are out there on Twitter as well. And you know what? They win their game. If Cloud9 beats Gambit today, we could be seeing a rematch very quickly.
Yeah, that would be a very quick rematch. I think Scrawny said it best at the previous event. He said there's a potential rivalry in town now between the Juggernaut and the Colossus, and that could be getting going pretty soon. But we have got an interview ready to take a look at and really see the thoughts heading into this one for Complexity.
I've only been in this team for about a month. We still come up with problems every time we practice, and also in our official games, we have a lot of rounds where like some weird mistakes that we wouldn't normally make. I think that's all part of the process of just getting used to each other and, you know, ironing out all the little small problems that we have. I think we just need to keep putting in the work that we're putting in, and everyone kind of just needs to keep focusing up, and I think we'll end up on the right path.
There it is, the spot and the grenade can combo with the spray, and Masuta's dead as well. JKS on for the ace. Team
expectations for this tournament is always just to win. I think we definitely have the lineup to do that. Of course, the last few tournaments that we went into, we wanted to win as well. But over time, as we're getting more used to each other, I think the expectations are obviously going to rise, and obviously we're going to get more, you know, comfortable with each other, and we're expected to win.
Well, classic team talk, really. When you get a new team put together, when you have a new player being added in, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. You're going to need to slot JKS in there and figure out where he's going to be playing, because this team is full of stars, and JKS is used to being the main man.
Yeah, he is, right? And the really cool thing for this team right now is obviously BlameF. Config playing at probably the best level I've seen him play in a number of years. The only kind of, I don't want to call it a weakling, but Poison has been a little bit quiet. But let's take a look at the results, Dink. I mean, even with the addition of JKS, you expect them to have a few teething issues initially. Sure, they lost Vitality, then they beat FaZe, they beat Fnatic, they beat Na'Vi, they beat Big again. And yeah, I mean, the results speak for itself, apart from that loss to Cloud9, which was a 16-14 scoreline in the final map. They've looked very good considering they've added a brand new player just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. They've been looking real solid. And speaking of their opponents, ENCE, they've added a new player. In fact, they've added two. And I think ENCE are looking pretty decent, I have to say. They've seen a little bit of an upgrade in terms of Dodo coming into the team. He had a couple of good performances, but they're such a question mark right now, Blair. It's really tough to talk about ENCE and really expect to see where they're at.
Yeah, this is going to be the first match that this particular lineup is going to be playing, and it's going to be against Complexity. It's not going to be easy. You have Sunny, you have Alu. Alu has been kind of the highest rated player for this team for a while. Sadix and Dodo. Look, I've seen the results or ratings, a few of the games from the past, but I think you mentioned this as well earlier in the green room, Dinko, in the virtual green room, that their opponents are of a much lower caliber compared to the teams they're going to be playing here in Masters. So it's going to be trial by fire for both these players.
Yeah, and I think, like you just touched on, Alu has had to be the star of this team recently. He has been the only player really consistently performing at the top. And I think that's a big problem for ENCE, right? Because Alu's meant to be that experienced player. He brings that consistency, but you wanted more out of your young guns. You wanted more out of Sergey. You wanted more out of this team, and it never really came there for ENCE. And so Alu, for a long time, felt like the only shining light for this team, when on paper they should have so much more firepower. And I think getting forward for ENCE, I don't really know if these players in particular, Blair, are the additions if you're looking for more firepower. From what I've seen from the new player, Dodo, he hasn't really provided a fast amount of firepower, right? He's not been immediately clicking and getting all those frags. But we're going to take a little look at the thoughts of ENCE. We have an interview ready for them to see their thoughts going into this one.
We have been preparing now against Complexity with 1 week bootcamp before the whole tournament, so obviously the expectation is not that high because we have been playing like only 1 week together, but obviously we have been playing a lot this bootcamp, and we're gonna do our best and hopefully it gets us the win.
Things into question. Jampy, nice two-piece, and he has a chance to now push up and wrap around the E-box. This could give him a frag versus Simple, and he's gonna nail that one too.
For us, it doesn't really matter if the NA teams are competing in Europe, because in Europe it's the better competition, like the level is higher. So I think for them and for us is obviously like a good chance that we get to play against the best and they get to play against the best.
Well, ENCE have been asked the same question time and time again. When are things going to get better? They've tried and they've tried, and finally I think this is one of the blows that we just really weren't expecting for quite some time. Sergey out of the team. We now have a very different looking face coming in here from ENCE. Do you think these are the players that will change ENCE? Do you think this is the change that will get them over the hurdle?
It's too early to tell, right?
Yeah.
Like, depending on what sort of players they are, either they're going to rise up to the occasion or they're going to kind of struggle. And I won't lie, your opening game, the first game you're going to be playing with this lineup, Sadix is playing his first game for ENCE. You had Doto has played, I think, 4 maps in total for this lineup, and you're going to be facing off against Complexity, who looks so good right now. it's not going to be easy. I want them to perform, but I got to be realistic. It's going to be a very uphill battle for these guys.
Well, the one positive is, Blair, it can't get any worse than what it was, right? That's the thing. They can start from the bottom and start to go up again. And when you take a look at things, Blair, I mean, Complexity is a hell of a tough opponent to come swinging at. This is a team that are not going to give you any space. And if you're some of these younger players that are new to this level of Counter-Strike, this is not going to be an easy feat whatsoever, Blair.
It's not going to be. And like, I'm not happy. I mean, I don't know what to say to that, right? Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? I feel it could get worse. I mean,
you think so?
You've lost. Yeah, I mean, they've lost your star player, Sergey, who has had a very rough time, of course. And I think it's going to come down to the map veto here, honestly. But even then, I don't know which way ENCE is going to go, where you might potentially take a map of Complexity.
Now, we did a little bit of theory crafting, Vertigo and Train coming out as the bans. Now, the good thing about Complexity is they have a very comfortable map pool. They don't really have that permaban. So Train coming through as the ban, it's actually one of the only maps ENCE look relatively strong on over the past couple of months.
It is, but this Dust 2 pick is what I predicted as well. I feel like Overpass would be a good pick for Complexity. I feel like it could be something which it could punish, because Overpass has been pretty rough for ENCE recently and for a while. And I feel for ENCE, maybe banning out, picking... there we go, Overpass getting picked by Complexity. The ban, I feel, should be Inferno getting banned out by Complexity and Mirage getting banned out by ENCE, leaving Nuke. I feel like Nuke is a map that ENCE have been historically a little comfortable on. It's one of the few maps alongside Dust 2 and Train where they have had a decent record in the recent past in what has been a rough past few months for the Finnish lineup. So yeah, Dust 2, Overpass, and okay, Complexity throwing a curveball. Mirage. That's the thing, like, Mirage is a map where I would have preferred Nuke, to, in all honesty, coming out from Complexity. But you know what? I doubt it's even go to map number 3. I got to be real here. I got to be the Debbie Downer. I'm sorry.
I mean, you got to be the realist right now, Blair. I think taking a look at those maps is looking almost locked in. The Complexity should be the victors in this one. We've had a lot of upsets today here on the broadcast, but this one, I just don't predict this to be an upset at all. I think Complexity are going to walk away with this one 2-0. It's too much of a test early on for ENCE, and I don't feel like they're going to get it done, Blair. What about you?
Oh, Complexity, 100%. It's going to be 2-0. I know Twitch is not agreeing with us right now, but then again, Twitch operate at a much higher level compared to the rest of us. So what can you say?
Yeah, they do. Their brains are just at another level. ENCE coming in is the 71% favorite from Twitch chat. You guys are very confident in the ENCE show. And I'm really looking forward to coming to this matchup. I'm really looking forward to seeing what ENCE can offer us, some of these individuals, and it's time to get into that. After the break, we'll be having ENCE taking on the Juggernaut. Finally, ENCE will get to show what they've got with their brand new players. I'm looking forward to heading into this one after the break. Complexity take on ENCE. Going up against ENCE, and the Finnish team have not looked all that solid lately, and I'm looking forward to seeing if these new players can change the face of this Finnish side.
Yeah, that's something which is going to be the lips of everyone who is a fan of ENCE, and clearly a lot of people on Twitch are a fan of this team. It is going to be Dust 2 to kick things off. It is going to be the pick coming in from the Finnish side, and wasting no time, Dingo. We're going to be jumping in straight into the game, and we have JKS and Rush taking one for the team. They bought up a lot of utility as Poison's looking to take an early deal towards Cat.
Yeah, this is looking pretty shaky so far early on for Poison. He goes down to Sunny's Glock, and he'll be looking for a little bit more, but the rest of ENCE starting to charge up through a long. They've left one back towards Pit just to play this post plant. And Complexity, well, they're a man down into this retake, Blair.
They're a man down. The early duel from Poison not really working out, but look at the damage being dealt with the utility. Double nade, Sunny and Sadix, both kind of low. but they do have all 5 players left alive. I like the post plan. You have a player towards pit, you have a player towards long, that's Alu with a Glock, and 3-player clustered towards the bomb side. And Retake's going to be coming in. The flashbang, I think a bit of a team flash there, but Jampy's going to be making contact. Denko and is going to find one. Sunny picks up a second as well, and this Retake's falling apart. But suddenly, JKS replying back, but he's going to be left alone. In a 1v3, this is looking impossible.
Yeah, that was just not a great round coming in from Complexity. Very simple from ENCE, actually, you know, taking a look at that round overall. Nothing out of the ordinary, just a very common strat into the pits round. And it's very effective. I like this early fight for Sunny. He needed to win it. Poison was caught out of position. It was not really a great spot for him to be in there. And ENCE will win the pits round. You can see the confidence in them to get towards the site, knowing that they have got that man advantage, because they immediately just left that 1-player pit. So going into this next round, Complexity into the force buy.
Yeah, I liked what ENCE did there. They wasted no time. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. Quick play towards A. Confident. Lower tones should find one, but he kind of whiffs that one. Sunny takes a bit of damage. But it's going to be fine to take out a problem man. As Alu is still put with street spawn with the scout. He's managed to get a tag earlier on. I believe it was onto... not sure who it was onto earlier on, but just providing eyes. Not from the sky, but from spawn. Not really seeing anyone. Poison with the scout. He's kind of isolated. He's all by his lonesome. He's going to try and kind of bait out the fact that there might potentially be 2 players for the side of Complexity towards his B bomb side or mid area, and kind of funnel ENCE towards A, with the 3 players lying in wait, 3 Deagles, Kevlar, and just 1 flashbang for JKS. He is playing towards together with his teammates though. But for ENCE, have everything to work with here, Dinko.
Yeah, ENCE are in a very comfortable position in terms of the utility they've got, but they've taken a lot of damage at the start of this round. 40 seconds left. This is where things can get messy. This is where the pistols from Complexity can start to deal the damage. Limef back in the round. Utility starting to come through. Rush, that was an opportunity. Back turn, still can't get the kill, and Yampy runs forward. The Galil with the immediate first headshot. Limef looking to dish out damage from his Deagle. He's got 1 headshot collected already, but the rest of his teammates start to fall, and the chances of Complexity winning this round are certainly becoming slimmer and slimmer. They're on a weight loss program, and ENCE should be picking up a second. Absolutely no problem.
Oh, yeah, nice shot from JKS there onto Yampy. Picks up a scout, but yeah, he's trapped. There's no escape. Just 1 tag from Aldo. But JKS still dealing damage, Dingo. He's making this kind of expensive. Finds another one, and now it's Aldo left in a 1v1, unfortunately for JKS. There is no time left for the Australian, so he will have to just run for the hills. He saved the scout. He's got the kit as well as the Deagle. Probably could drop the Deagle over towards one of his teammates, but pretty expensive round, all things considered for ENCE. But I don't see a buy coming out from Complexity, so they just have the scout, which will be dropped towards Poison, and why not? And they have a Deagle to work with.
They could even get a few more Deagles out here. You know, Blamef could pick one up if he desires. I think right now, knowing the damage that they've done, they might as well. And this is a little bit worrying for ENCE, right? That round should have been much tighter. They should have kept most of the players alive and that's just kind of the skill that they've got. JKS with another one. They're charging up middle here, Complexity, looking to bring the fight to ENCE early on. They might just go down and lose a few players. Immediate call from Sadix is to leave spawn and try and get over towards B, but he's the bomb carrier. So if ENCE walk into a bit of a stack here on the defensive side, they could come out worse for wear, but luckily the remaining players start to group up and spawn, but now they're just skirmishing. And it's Blamef with the headshot on the Deagle. Sunny gets the double. That has put ENCE back in a comfortable position. They're going to try and turn their attentions back over towards B, but currently Complexity had 2 players over there, so ENCE just figuring out if everybody's left spawn.
Well, Allo getting that kill is going to make life way more easier. Poison left alone. 1v3, they still need to be aware of where Poison could potentially be, but considering the fact that Allo managed to get the flank towards Cat all the way from long, they're aware that there's no one towards A. Gonna be crossing over from long, though. That is the bomb carrier. That's a little worrying, but Sunny, he's got a smoke.
Oh.
He's got to go for the dry peek. Doesn't even wait for the smoke to bloom, and that's going to be Poison. That was unnecessary. Really unnecessary. The second shot from Poison doesn't quite find its mark, but it's now a 1v2. These rounds shouldn't be this expensive. And with scout in hand from Poison, Dinko, we know what he can do with a scoped weapon.
Yeah, there's no point in even giving him a chance here. This is ridiculous. ENCE now into a 2v1. An expensive round already, but they have the double stacking Goose. And well, Doto is going to peek out into the open, taking the kill onto Poison. But a lot of early signs there from ENCE that are a little bit worrying, to be honest, Blair. They're not as clean as you would like to see. Those Jules coming in, just swinging out CT, expecting a lower tier pistol, but Poison had the scout. And yeah, you had the smoke available. You could have got across safely, but nonetheless, ENCE will find 3 in a row, but their money is on the line already.
Absolutely, and now the full buy coming in, full investment for Complexity. We, of course, have Poison with the AWP. A couple of players playing up long. It's going to be Rush and Poison. BlameF, the rock of this team, the captain, in-game leader, highest rated player as well recently, or for a while, in fact. And it's going to be a no-nonsense B split coming in here. 2 players with B bomb site, Dinko. It's going to be JKS and Config. They have been spectacular so far recently, but they're going to have a lot of work to do. They have no backup. Mid has been taken over by Sunny. Him just staying around, he's sticking around here. It's going to be problematic for the side of Complexity.
This pit position, or just elevated above here from Rush, is very strong. At least one of those kills. Just take that early fight, fall back into the pit safely. He's also got the help of Poison to help him out at long. And ENCE are certainly sending those players up long, but look at this CT spawn play. This is everything right now for ENCE. This is the strongest piece on the board right now for the ENCE roster. Sunny down in towards spawn side, but Sadix is going to go down to Rush. And immediately Complexity given this man advantage, and they're going to turn their attentions back over towards B. There's still 2 players inside of the site, but they're hoping that Sunny can catch them off in the rotation.
If they're gone for a mid to B smoke, that could be brutal. But the thing is, they have no smokes remaining, Dinko. They have to go for the contact play. Jampy has got a Molotov, flashbang for Aldo. They're going to be walking in. And Config, Molotov in hand. Look at the time, 18 seconds. If he just tosses in right now, they have to run in through the flames. It's all that time, and Config is going to toss on in perfectly timed. And JK is going to pick up 2. That's the round done. 10 seconds remaining on the clock. And if I'm Alu, I'm just holding on to the AW. Sunny, he gets a knife. So yeah, they lose the round, Dinka, but a little bit of a little bit of a W there for Sunny.
To me, that if you're going to be doing that, because ENCE obviously didn't have much utility left, they were kind of forced into that contact play into the B-bomb site. But if that's going to be a common theme throughout this game, I do not see it going well for ENCE in this attacking side. JKS is one of the best Einkers I feel in this game. Right now, he is just incredible at just being an Einker player and shutting down those sites. You can see how easy that was for him to win the round. So if you're ENCE and you've got no utility left and you're just banking on going into that B-bomb site and winning those aim duels, good luck, because that is not going to be very easy against Complexity. And now ENCE in a bit of a peculiar scenario right now. They have enough money to get a couple of rifles out, but the rest of the team are going to be on pistols. So Complexity, even though they're down 3-1, they're actually in the better position right now.
Oh yeah, they are, and I really do like the fact that they've gone for an early tactical timeout, right? Like, even though the 3-1 up, they lost that round very convincingly. They also bled hemorrhages so many players in those anti-eco rounds, especially round number 3, where they shouldn't have lost more than 1 player at max. So, buy. It's a full investment, but it is very light indeed. Couple of deagles, 2 AKs, the AWP still in the hands of Alu. For Complexity, it's about building up the economy, Dinka. If they manage to win this round and manage to keep the majority of their players alive for the next anti-eco round, they can build up a pretty decent war chest and look to try and extend or get the lead and then extend it in this first half. A little bit of a switch up here. They've left Rush alone towards long, and Poison is playing up close from Cat. No AWPs for the side of Complexity right now. Not enough money to work with. JKS towards mid, a little bit of a switch up. You have BlameF and Config playing towards B. This B bomb site. And seem to prefer it on these buy rounds, but they haven't seen anything yet. Trying to find something, an opening, a pick.
I mean, Alu has been a really good player so far for ENCE to start things off. He's 3-0. He's the only player that's kind of looked fundamentally sound at every turn we've seen so far. Ned's coming in from Complexity up towards Catwalk, but here comes the play out long. Rush is just hiding behind blue. That smoke dissipates, and now the move forward from ENCE. The time is starting to tick, so they're leaving themselves no other option but for this A split. This long fight needs to go their way, and Rush is just holding the corner. They eventually come around. It's the first kill onto Yampy. An immediate trade from Sadix. Right back through to Rush. Alu going to spot the player crossing back over towards Goose, but now Poison has to stay alive. Goes down to Sadix, and these kills, these are so important for ENCE, but the time, still 13 seconds left as they start to run into towards this A bomb site. Smokes down for spawn. Just enough time to get across here and get this plant. And Complexity still in a 3v3. This long fight once again becomes important.
Oh, Sadix needed to hit that shot. Config wasn't even checking him, and now it's a 2v3 bomb down. Alu. He's going to rock for this team despite their ups and downs. They know where one player is. Second player's been spotted out. Sunny's going to lose a duel. It's Alu left alone. Dinko 1v3. Looking to find one. Config's going to get taken down. He knows where the second player is as well. Find a second kill, looking for more. And it misses a third shot, unfortunately. And JKS, he clutches it out. But Alu, for a moment there, he almost made me believe.
Yeah, he got Alu on the server early on. He was just hitting every shot. Like, comes down into the final one, and he just can't get the bullet off. But ENCE, I mean, that round again, time is just a limiting factor for them. They're really forced to make that play into the A site. And if it isn't for Sadix, I don't even think they get near that bomb site there. That was another rough round from ENCE, but nonetheless, they get the bomb down, and they're going to go for a buy again. Now, this money is going to be a problem for ENCE moving forward.
Yeah, they're really desperate to... You know what? I'm okay with this buy, in all honesty.
This one's fine.
Yeah, you look at the money for Complexity, right? You win this round, you're able to kind of break their money, which is something... I'd go for it. And on top of that, it's still very early. Blame F is playing a very, very dangerous game. A player has walked on past, and Sunny's going to assassinate him. Blame F probably wondering where the hell he came from. And that's not the start Complexity we're looking for. Probably we're even... I'm not too sure why they're playing that aggressive either from Blame F. They should have known the money would have been low for the side of ENCE. Should have probably been expecting a full eco, or maybe if you upgraded weapons. Even this 4-spire, right? You have the Galil and the Deagles, that's about it, and the MAC-10. And ENCE finding Blame F towards Cat. They're going to be slowly making their way towards this A bomb site. I gotta say, Dinko, I haven't been a fan of how slow some of these rounds are from ENCE.
No. Especially when they don't have that much utility, right? They're drawing out the utility early on, and then they're left with nothing. And they're just hoping they can win a couple of aim duels going through major choke points. And if there's one thing Complexity are good at, it's shooting people in the head. So if you just buy and go and being able to go around a corner and winning the aim duels, it's not going to go well for you. And JKS, 10-2, has had a fantastic start, swings into the open with the flash from Config, delivers 3 kills, and that's a huge hold as he goes back for more. Spots the players crossing into the B bomb site. Waits out the flash again from his teammates. Sunny's going to try and get aggressive. The shadow spotted, and another kill for JKS. Could he get all 5 to start off this game? Can he bring ENCE down in a one-man show? Dodo, new player on the block, and he will fall to rush. 3-3 for Complexity, and JKS is here on the server.
Ice cold. Just look at him. This flash. JKS was great, but the flash was better. That was absolute perfection from Config. And JKS, of course, he's gonna win those duels. The thing is, the bomb plant, it's not good enough. Like, that's the only silver lining from that round. If it was a full eco and they had got the bomb down from that, fair enough, great round. But with that investment, it's just not good enough. And that's gonna be just Glocks, a couple of P250s. You have Yampi with a Deagle and a flashbang. That's the only thing ENCE have to work with here, trying to potentially get the bomb down. I feel like Cat is something which they could try exploiting a bit. They have been able to find at least some measure of success towards short. And at least they can get the bomb down. That'd be a little bit of a mini win. And even if they don't, you know what? They're still going to have money for the buy in the next round. But Complexity, being 0-3 down, is the best chance to take the lead here early on in game number 1.
They should be picking this up, no problem. Poison will be the first man to contact into the ENCE players. No smoke, just the one flashbang here. So they go across. Shot not landed by Poison. Dodo able to take the kill immediately onto Blame F. And now Poison has to do a lot, but he's missing shots. And he goes down to Yampi. How has this happened? How is this the round that ENCE looked the most competitive in? They're going to get that bomb down. Config with the headshot. Yampi falls and now rush from long. He's not going to get anything. So Config having to stand tall. Goes for the jump shot. Flicks back. Last bullet in the chamber. And they get it done. JKS and Config come in and save the round. But my god, ENCE make that look so competitive.
Few whiff shots, and that's all it takes. Again, you play this level of Counter-Strike. I mean, sure, it might be like ENCE are the underdogs, but you give them an opportunity to take duels where you like three of ENCE players are peeking the one guy. They're going to win most of this duel. So great work from ENCE. They get the bomb down. They take away 3 guns. That's some damage dealt to Complexity's economy, because if they'd won that round, keeping the majority of the players alive, keeping 4 or maybe even 5 alive, the money was starting to look a little scary. But Now take a look at it. Rush, JKS got to buy back in. They have, well, nothing left in the bank. Blame F and Poison, a little bit of some buffer, but it is a very expensive round, as ENCE now with the buy of their own. Alu once more with the AWP. And Complexity have opted to leave long this time around. Rush is going to be playing up towards short. Poison with the opposite long flashbacks. Not good enough. Sunny swaps to the knife as Config finds Yampy as well. Why would he do that?
I have no idea. That is just a fumble right there. Maybe trying to... I just have no idea, actually. He definitely just accidentally pulled the knife out there as soon as the flash comes through. Bit of a panic. Maybe tried to jump away. Maybe he has the... I really don't understand how that happens there, Blood. There's definitely something that went wrong there for Sunny. And he goes down early on. ENCE have lost 2 players into one of the most important rounds to start things off here. Complexity just having a great time. Double up setup in play. They're just looking really comfortable right now. It's Sadix and Dodo alongside Alu. There was veteran player on this team right now with the 2 youngsters. You have to try and pull off a 3v5 against Complexity. 35 seconds left. 3 players on this A bomb site. Look how disciplined Complexity are right now. They're not giving a single inch. They know if you give them a chance here, ENCE are good enough individuals that they will be able to do something with it. They're just focusing up, playing super passive and not giving anything away.
Looking at the time, I love this play from Blame F. He's pushing up ahead, not giving them an opportunity to make their way into the side. He's going to find at least one kill. No, he won't. Dodo's going to save his teammate, but they still need to cross on over, and Poison's going to find the kill. 5 seconds. There's no time remaining. Alu will not land a shot. Poison with a nice little 3K there. Config with 4 kills in total for the AWPs, and ENCE just got picked apart there.
Yeah. I have to say, Blood, one positive right now for ENCE is that Blame F is whiffing hard on this A-bomb site right now. That's 2 rounds where he's just got nothing out of perfect situations, really, right? He should be taking those kills, but yeah, I don't expect that to last much longer. I think he'll warm up into it pretty quickly, but there are a couple of opportunities. You know, if Blame F's going down in the hold without anything, that's the opportunities you want to be taking if you're ENCE. And a quicker play trying to punish this AWP in middle. Config's going to reposition as the secondary AWP that'll get the kill.
Oh, that's a nice opener from Sunny, and now Config. He's kind of trapped here outside of B, but that's okay as long as he finds the kills outside towards mid. Dodo won't escape. He will be found out. But ENCE, at least they make their way into the B bomb site. Bomb will be planted. It's Sunny and Alu, the 2 veterans of this team. And the 2 players I would want to have alive in a scenario like this. They need to be a little bit proactive. They are a man down, and Alu looking to find something. He spots out Blame F's head. He's going to decapitate him. And now it's a 2v2.
Alu just trying to sit back in the site. AWP and behind the close box. Sunny just taking these long-range fights, gathering the info up, and they're both going to go through the window. Alu looking at door, but Sunny takes the first headshot. Time now so limited for Rush. He's not winning this round. He taps the bomb, trying to take another player down, and Alu hits the headshot. The round secured for ENCE, and they will walk away finally with a round win.
That's a huge round for Sunny and Alu to win. Alu especially. I love the fact that he went for the peek down mid towards through double doors, because I think he needed to take that fight, right? The 3v2, you want to neutralize the man advantage. You didn't have much utility either to work with. Just want to point out, JKS is 15-3 in 9 rounds. That's obscene. As Alu spots the player crossing over, doesn't quite land the shot though.
JKS is looking unbelievable right now. He is definitely not missing the mark at all. And that is worrying, but ENCE, I mean, look at these rounds that are being close, right? Look at the damage they've been able to inflict on a lot of these players. Blex is just hoping they can pick this round up, and so far so good with Poison and Comfy taking these early picks. Now, looking at Complexity as a team, though, it has been a bit of a storyline in terms of Poison. You know, whether or not this consistency can come off this super aggressive AWPing style. He has had a few quieter performances recently, but he's not really missing too many shots today, Blair.
Oh, no. And if you look at the stats of Complexities ever since JK has joined, it's Config and Blame F leading the pack, honestly. And Config has been spectacular. Although, right now, he is in the grave. He is 6 feet under. But ENCE, they're a little bit more worse off. Sadix bleeding out on 14 HP. Sunny and Dodo still alive. Dodo with the AWP picked up from his captain. And now it's going to come down to the young Bulgarian, Dinko. It's going to be Poison with the AWP. I think they spotted his head. I'm not too sure. Maybe it might be a pre-fire. He's playing a very safe angle. Spots out, and Sunny's going to punish him for the whiff. And with that, it's now a 3v3. 25 seconds on the clock. They're going to get the bomb down. BlameF trying to creep on up. It looks away the worst time possible, but Sunny hasn't spotted the barrel of that A1. And normally taking a shot towards JKS. Never mind. JKS just dismantles him. And now it's a 2v3. Bear in mind, Static is in 14 HP, and Dodo, he's got to go big here.
Yeah, he really does. And while Rush immediately with the headshot, Dodo going down to the decoy. Now Static's the last remaining player, 1v3, and Rush takes his head right off. JKS, my god, that kill in towards spawn. I thought BlameF was dead to rights, but he just waits and JKS comes through spawn, immediately lands the headshot. 6-4 for Complexity. And so, I mean, they are consistently getting onto that bomb site towards A. That's certainly been something they figured out. It's just holding on to it is the problem here, Bless. So maybe they can figure that out a little bit down the line.
Yeah, Rush doesn't even need a gun. He's just giving them a handicap. He's like, I'll just play with a deagle, guys. You know, just give you a couple of rounds. The thing is, for Complexity, despite them being the lead, it's only 6-4. You know, there's a very real possibility if ENCE are able to string a few rounds together here, they could potentially maybe end up with the lead at the end of the half. And the scary thing, the worrying thing for Complexity is how many players they have bled out or lost in the rounds they've won. Again, look at the money. It still hasn't stabilized yet. It's still looking pretty grim. For the side of Complexity, for the Juggernauts. Meanwhile, for ENCE, Mai's going to be coming in again. Dodo taking one for the team, opting to go for the Galil just so can purchase a little bit of extra utility. And the utility is very sparse in this round. 4 smokes, a handful of flashbangs, and a couple of Molotovs. That's all they have to work with.
Complexity have been loving this double op setup. Config, you know, he hasn't really delivered a massive round out of it just yet, but he's done a lot in terms of just scaring them off the middle, kind of maintaining that control, falling back effectively, not giving anything up. And Poison has been doing a really good job at sort of just picking them off from afar and maybe stepping up in some of those rounds where BlameF has not looked great on the A-bomb side. So Poison's definitely had a good performance so far. Config holding this mid-peak. This is going to be a very difficult angle to hard check for ENCE. This is definitely going to be a difficult spot, but Config changing up position. Here's the utility coming in from this B-bomb side.
Preemptive nade to keep the T's at bay. There's probably a ruse though, but Poison gets spotted out at mid as the players cross on over, but Blame is going to find Gempi, and it's going to be Poison shutting down Alu as well. They found a little bit of an opening towards mid, Dinko. They were trying to abuse that mid control, which is being gifted by Complexity, but they just get shut down. And now they're going to be heading towards short. The problem is Rush is very much aware that a flank might be coming in. And BlameF, Dinko, you said it was being quiet, but it's just popping heads now.
Yeah, he's lighting up the scoreboard. I said it wasn't going to be a consistent thing. He was eventually going to warm up into this one. And Static's taking the head off Rush. BlameF with another one. 3 on the hold this time. And Dodo, now 1v4. Now, he was involved in a lot of clutches in the previous matches I took a look at for this team, but he hasn't really won too many of them. He's definitely new to this level, and you can definitely see that. And a lot of the 1v1s he had against Big in the previous gameplay, he was losing a lot of those 1v1 rounds. Definitely can be expected from a newer player, right? Dodo hasn't really played at this level yet. You know, don't play against top 20 teams. So it's obviously to be expected. But the problem is for ENCE, you have 2 of those players right now. Dodo actually has more experience playing against the top 20 teams than Static does. And he's played 2 games. So this isn't looking so great for ENCE's chances up against Complexity early on based on paper.
Yeah, this is definitely trial by, not just fire. It's like trial by... trying to think of something more dangerous than fire. Well, trial by hell, I guess. These are the rounds where I haven't been a big fan of how Complexity have lost so many players in these anti-ecos, anti-force buys. So if they're able to win this one convincingly, Dinko, I'm expecting a potential 10-5, 11-4 scoreline here for the Juggernauts. But ENCE, they've proven that while they are definitely the underdogs in this particular matchup, they do have what it takes when it comes to winning individual duels. 2 smokes left, 5 flashbangs. And what it looks like, they're all gathering up towards mid. Looks like it's going to be... There's no one towards tunnels, though. So I doubt it's going to be the play towards B, probably just like a ruse towards mid, and then they're going to be running up towards cat. And for complexity, it's just a default setup, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, good read of the economy, really understanding just to play in this passive setup. There's no real need to go and search for this opening kill because they're going to start running into you very shortly. Let's start sprinting up the B ramp, looking for this fight, but it's the catwalk push, as you said, coming through. Poison trying his best this time. BlimmF not missing with the immediate headshot, and Poison getting the double. It's all on Yampy, left alone with a Deagle, and he goes down. 8-4 for complexity, looking real solid. They've already won the half, and ENCE have just struggled economically this entire first half, I feel, Blood. You know, those first few rounds, you may look at them as, oh, it's an early start, right? You've got a couple of rounds under your belt, but it's the fashion in which they won those rounds that wasn't that great, right? They lost far too many players, a couple of mistakes coming through it, and it did set them up for a bit of a downturn in terms of their success in the first couple of rounds due to the economy.
Absolutely. And bear in mind, the 3 rounds ENCE have... Ooh, that's a nice flick from config. Alu gets tagged down to 40, and that's going to force him back out of the angle. Aggressive hold from complexity. I like how they're keeping ENCE guessing. They've completely left long, mind you, and they weren't expecting this angle from BlimmF. Now, BlimmF even finds Alu with a nade, and even though they've given up long, Dinko, it's a 3v5 for complexity, and 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock.
Look at the full setup here on the A side as well. It's not looking good at all for ENCE. They run right into the meat grinder. Config with the first, Poison on the second, but it's Sadix who's going to do it all. He's picked up 2 low HP, and Poison swings out with a P250. A 9th round locked in for complexity. And ENCE, you can just see that they're just that little bit worse than complexity. Much worse, in fact, in terms of on the individual level right now, and they're just being outclassed, unfortunately. But it's to be expected. If anybody came into this matchup expecting ENCE to be able to go toe-to-toe individually with complexity right out of the gate with 2 brand new players, you'd be a bit mad. So I think we've got to be realistic coming into this.
Or you could be an ENCE fan. Or you could be
yeah, you're going to be that. Some would say one and the same, but nonetheless... Of course, ENCE looking real solid on the individual level at times, but right now, just not really having what it takes to go up against complexity right now.
Bear in mind, ENCE, yeah, like I said earlier, they've won 1 rifle round, Dinko. 1 buy round is all they've won, apart from the pistol round and the following Angelicos, which were expensive, mind you. So even the rounds they've won haven't looked clean or easy for them. Yeah. It's not been easy for ENCE at all. And complexity, well, they're just looking better and better. I did have my complaints initially that there were being too many players with this round, a little shaky from them, but right now they're feeling it. They're feeling confident. They're being very proactive, playing aggressive towards short and rotating back towards long. The previous round was spectacular. The way they just completely outplayed and outgamed ENCE. And finally, they're going to be heading towards B. Mr. JKS, Mr. Savage is lying in wait, and, well, he gets taken down, Dinko, but the rest of his team, they're going to hit all the shots.
Yeah, the T side, you know, there has been a couple of signs here from ENCE. It's not been all bad. I mean, they've been able to get on in the bomb sides pretty efficiently and consistently, I have to say, over towards A early on in this game. But it's just those post plants and the little minor parts of your game in terms of how you're playing off your teammates and just little bits that all add up to be a big picture, right, Blood? And a lot of those mistakes coming in from ENCE have cost them. A lot of the duels not going their way. And complexity now head into the last round of the first half. Up with a man advantage. Config in this AWP has really started to light up the scoreboard in these last few rounds. And ENCE desperately scrapping together, trying to find a 5th round, but it's not going well at all. Sadix and Yampy left in a 2v5. And complexity just having a brilliant time right now, having a great time on the server. BlimmF, he was a little quiet to start things off, but is now 14 kills on the board. Finally is taken down, and it's on Sadix into a 1v4.
Yeah, it's not going to be... Look at Poison. Look at Poison just, like, waiting. Just walking up. There's no way he's expecting it. Oh, he does expect it, but doesn't matter. Deagle's going to find it smart. Complexity, 11-4 Dinko. That was pretty one-sided.
Indeed. It's time for a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get right back into things to see if ENCE can bounce back as we head into the second.
People tell me that we move too fast. They don't even know what we know. I feel like we could face the whole world, 'cause I know that you're so good for me. 'Cause they don't even know what we know. Oh, it's like it will fill the air around. Oh, not asleep or awake. I won't let the future escape. Burning dreams take me back to you in the night when
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half. It's Complexity taking on ENCE. 11-4 at the half. Lackluster from the Finnish side, to say the least. This is their map pick, and heading into the second, they're going to need a monumental effort to just get onto the board.
They are indeed. It's going to be Yampy who has, well, bottom frag, but that's a nice way to open things up. He's going to find JKS, blinded or not. Perfectly timed shot to land a headshot. And there's been a story of, well, Yampy struggling, the entire event struggling on the other side for Complexity. Everyone's having a good time. JKS Dinko, 17 and 4.5.
Yeah, he's having a massive performance right now, but the big swing from ENCE out long, looking to take these fights. BlimmF has collected one, Rush with the other one. Config taking a double, and now it's all on Sadix left alone in a 1v3. This will be a big clutch for the new addition, new to this level of Counter-Strike, as he begins to walk through the smoke, taking the long fight at the ramp. Rush will gather the info, spots him, and takes him down immediately. 12-4 for Complexity. They are 4 rounds away from victory, and ENCE are not looking so hot right now. Good start from Yampy. That initial kill was pretty solid, but what continued was not so great for ENCE.
I mean, yeah, the fact that we say 1 kill, good start, and it just like peters after that, that's not what they were looking for. And for ENCE, I just want to, like, there were a few moments there in the first half where I was left scratching my head, wondering as to what some of these players were doing. And I'm not even talking about the newer ones like Doto or Sadix, some of the veterans in his team. They were making some very questionable decisions, Dinko. With a lot of individual plays, okay, Alu, all right, that's a nice one, but that's all he's going to find is Config immediately trades it back. And not just that, he regains a management as well. These Deagles have to land a shots. Unfortunately, it isn't. He does tag down Rush, but this looks like round number 13 for Complexity. Oh,
it feels like Complexity are just winning every heads-up aim duel. No matter if they're in a worse position, they're just winning the duels out. And that's unfortunate for ENCE, but Sunning in a 1v3 here with the Deagle. Nothing but a Deagle and some light Kevlar. He spots the players on the other towards Catwalk. Those ones close, at least was preempting the corner peak, but BlimmF was there with a Mac 10. 13 rounds for Complexity now on ENCE's map pick, and they are now 3 away from victory.
3 away from victory, and yeah, this isn't the start that ENCE were looking for, was it? Like, this is a map, I won't lie, when I was looking at my notes, I'm like, you know what, Dust 2 would probably be the best chance ENCE have of taking a map. And they agreed with me. They went for the pick, unfortunately. It wasn't meant to be. It's going to be a fast push up towards mid. Dinko just squeeze all around. The flashbang is going to be brutal, and it is an absolute shutdown at mid. Poison and Config farming his eco kills, barely taking any damage. In fact, taking no damage at all. And 14-4, 2 rounds away from taking map number 1, as we do have the final Hail Mary round coming up from ENCE. A double up setup, Dinko. Yampy and Alu with the dual zoom bangers.
Yeah, well, double up setup was something Complexity loved having over on their defensive side. Now we get to see whether or not ENCE can do anything with theirs. 2 very proficient snipers on this ENCE team. That's certainly something they do have, but Sadix losing the duel. Sunny peeking out with the AUG does get the reply, but long control, it's not quite Complexity's yet. They've still got to deal with Alu around this corner. And it's going to slow it down a good bit. They have got 1 player out of Longhouse, a second now moving forward. That smoke will allow them more space to put pressure on this AWP, and the flash is perfect as well. This is completely neutralized Alu, who's just getting barely any info here, pushes forward, hoping his teammates can back him up. And now he's got away. He's got back into safety, but Sunny was hung out to dry, and he gets caught by Poison as the smoke fades away.
That is so well done by Complexity, forcing an Alu from his position. And Sunny, he was in 2 minds. Do I stick around or just head back to safety? Unfortunately, the decision came a little too late, and now it's 3v4, Dinko. They do still have the 2 AWPs to work with, and we know the magic that Alu can conjure. But it's going to be forced back again. Utility usage has been fantastic from Complexity, apart from their aim duels, and with that, it's all an Alu. 1v4. This was the buy they needed to convert. And I think they know where he is. They do indeed. Molotov's going to force him out for the fight. BlameF is going to find him. Complexity, they get to map point. They've only lost 1 buy round. That is insane.
You can see the frustration on Alu's face there towards the end. He's just like, nothing I can do here. You know, he starts car, he has a good angle, then a smoke comes out, a perfect flash, then a Molotov. He gets back into the site. The rest of his teammates have been picked off, and he's in Gandalf, and he gets mollied out of that position as well. Complexity's utility usage is perfect right now, and this is what we're talking about with Complexity. Right, this is ENCE's map pick. Albeit it is Dust 2, right? It's one of those maps that if you're a brand new roster and you've gone through significant changes in terms of bringing 2 newer players in, Dust 2 is a map you don't really need to look at too much in terms of the preparation, but look how prepared Complexity are on this map. And it's just that utility usage is just enough to suffocate the defense of ENCE right now. They cannot get comfortable, and these aim jewels as well have just been going Complexity's way. So ENCE really not having a great debut with this team. Sadix, new player onto the roster now, moving his way through the lower tunnel. He will get 1 kill, opening up onto JKS, and Sunny as well, picking up a kill. Maybe a little bit of a miracle here for ENCE. Can they get another round?
Maybe it could be the beginning of a comeback. Maybe this could be the moment, Dinko, that ENCE as a team, as an org, they turn it all around. They go on to make it deeper on the DreamHack Masters. It could happen.
And there's me thinking you're the pessimist, Blood.
I'm trying to be a better human being nowadays. I'm trying to be a... Let's see what happens though. The scout headshot coming in from Yampi. Now a 2v5 for the very first time. Oh, okay, conflict. Okay, then. He's looking for more, but Alu is going to decapitate him. And ENCE, well, they win another round. And they will delay the end of this map for at least 1 more round.
That was a pretty good round from ENCE. You could tell that, you know, everything was out of the picture. You know, backs against the wall, nothing to lose. They went straight through the lower tunnel there with Sadix. He just went, okay, well, nothing to lose here. I'm just going for this aggressive play with the weaker weapon. Starts things off well. Sunny gets the double kill, and the rest of the team just land those shots. And Yampi out middle with the headshot onto Poison. Another man advantage picked up early for ENCE.
Another man advantage. But they need to win 10 in a row, Dinko, and okay, I can't lie. It's going to be almost nigh impossible, especially when you have some of these younger players like Dodo and Sadix, but it's going to be a kill. There's going to be a kill by Sadix onto Config. They're actually winning some of these opening duels. And even if they lose this map, Dinko, at least if they can make it a little bit competitive, if they can make the scoreline a little bit closer, I would take it. Like, if I'm ENCE, I'm like, all right, we managed to take a fight to Complexity. We're able to grind it back, get to at least 10, maybe 11 rounds. You know, that would give a little bit of promise to them, as Rush is going to be dropping straight on into its CD spawn. It's going to spot the player in the smoke. And that means he knows. Oh, I'm surprised there's a couple of players. He's going to be taking a duel with Sunny. What a shot from Rush.
Well, this is the kind of thing Complexity can do. Even Rush can step up with those moments, but Alu, that was an incredibly important duel to win. Now he's given ENCE a very good retake chance. It's BlameF and JKS trying to hold on. 2v4 as ENCE start their retake attempt into this A-bomb site. They'll run forward. Sadix with the immediate first headshot and the follow-up as well. Sadix cleaning up. And maybe with the pressure off, you know, we pretty much have already lost this map. He's starting to show up and get a lot of these duels going his way. 3 kills for him in the round, and ENCE will get a 6th.
Well, it's not quite done yet. It's not quite done yet. I mean, some nice shots coming from Sadix. 3K. Maybe they're starting to feel a little confident here, Dinko. Maybe they're starting to wake up. Maybe they're, you know what they say, the most dangerous beast is an injured beast, is someone who has nothing to lose. And right now, I won't lie, ENCE have nothing to lose.
No, right? The thing you want to see from ENCE right here is them getting warmed up, getting some game time, some server time for these younger players. And if you can start to find that, if you can start to let these players get into their groove, find a few moments against Complexity where they are able to show up like this is exactly what ENCE want right now. They want some server time. They want these players getting a feel for the game. And Sadix is certainly getting comfortable. A second kill for him through the smoke as he runs through. And that's 3 in the round, shutting down Complexity. And BlameF left alone, shaking his head in a 1 versus 4. He's got to figure out how he's going to do this. And ENCE shut him down. What a round from Sadix. He is really feeling it right now in these last couple of rounds.
The newest addition, the neophyte of the team, really stepping up here in the dying few rounds, and they've actually broken the money for Complexity. They have to go for the pistols. What was Rush doing there, though? He knew, he would have heard the bullets like just getting rattled off from the AK-47 of Statix's just to his right, getting the kill into Poison, and he didn't react, he didn't turn around. A bit of a mistake from Mr. Rush, but they still have a very, very comfortable buffer to work with, due Complexity. 8 rounds. 8 opportunities to just close this one out. So not be worried quite yet, but for ENCE, it's I'm actually enjoying these past couple of rounds, Dinko. They're showing signs of life, something which we all want to see. You don't want to see a complete whitewash. These, I mean, this is the DreamHack Masters, right? You're seeing some of the best teams on the planet duking it out. You want to see these close games. You want to see these upsets taking place. We saw earlier today itself. We saw Godson knocking down Astralis to the lower bracket where they're going to be facing off against Liquid. So you want to see matchups like that. Instead, you might see a complete whitewash, but it's not taking place yet. Hit coming in towards Cat, but it's all a roost, Dinko. They're going to be heading back towards B, where it's Yampy lying in wait. Doto.
5v4. Complexity. Got to take every round in front of them now. Cannot drop the ball at all. And Complexity look to go into this B-bomb side. Going to test Dodo, going to test Yampy. First kill's in from Dodo, but Yampy not getting anything done. Finally, the double kill comes through, and the arrival of Sunny will allow an 8th round to be added to the tally for ENCE. 15 to 8 on the board. They're starting their comeback. They're getting a few rounds now on this defensive side and starting to stretch their legs. It really did feel for a very long time, Blair, that ENCE just had no space to work with in this game. Complexity were completely shutting out any chance that ENCE had. But now that they found a few rounds, a few Hail Mary plays and Statix has worked out for them, they've got a bit of a chance now to make this scoreline look much more respectable.
Yeah, this is some of the players in ENCE waking up. We pointed out Yampy. He had 4 kills, I believe, at the end of the first half. And right now, he is definitely in double digits for sure. I'm not able to find out exactly how many kills he has. But he is starting to wake up. And that is, I wouldn't say worrying yet for Complexity, but that's a good sign. It's a promising sign for ENCE that one of the star players, he is trying to shoulder the burden alongside his captain, that's Alu. And of course, Mr. Firepower himself, Sunny. But I gotta say, Statix, he's kind of started to impress me a little bit. It's still very early days, Dinko, but his debut game against a Juggernaut, and he's going toe-to-toe with some of these players.
Yeah, this defensive side, you know, it's still very early, of course, but, you know, getting a bit of confidence maybe in this defensive half. Didn't really figure out what they need to do on the T side. I feel like the system wasn't quite there for them to succeed, but now that he's kind of let loose, he's just having a bit of freedom over the server. This is really working out for Statix and Yampy. Now they just hope that he can step up, hope that he can get a bit of confidence going. Got 2 in the last round. Picked up the initial kill in this one. Now falls off the angle with damage inflicted.
All the smokes. It's going to force Sunny out of his position. It's still going to be sticking around towards the car. Smoke will dissipate, and it's going to be JKS leading the way. Yampy's going to find Poison the moment it dissipates. Sunny is going to... Oh, no! He whiffs it, but he manages to recover in time. The spray transfer's not good enough. It's Blamer finds Yampy, and this could be it, but it's still a man advantage for the side of ENCE. Make that rush, left alone 1v3, and he's going to burn alive, unfortunately, in his own Molotov. And with that, ENCE 9 rounds. That's a true... That's a real one. That, ladies and gentlemen.
You have the pass. Twitch chat.
The actual 1G right there.
Yeah, I mean, Yampy, you can tell, just a little bit more confident now. Starting to take these real duels, I like to say. Not carrying away with his AWP in the corner. He's actually standing up on top of the side box, going for this early long fight. ENCE, the pressure's kind of off now. You're right, they're coming into this one. I think... You know, for a long time, the pressure was really on ENCE to perform based on the players they've got. But now they've got these newer players, you kind of can excuse them for some of the quieter performances. But they're showing up in this defensive half. Dodo doing a lot of work, repositions behind the smoke. Alu with another kill, and it's all onto BlameF. Complexity getting a bit desperate now, just rushing into the B-bomb site, and it has not worked out for them. BlameF now having to pull off a 1v3 clutch. 2 players repositioning back in towards tunnels. And BlameF, he's got 20 kills. He would need to make that tally 23 to win this round.
We talk about a clutch minister, but one thing is, BlameF has won some of the most ridiculous clutches I've seen in the recent past. 1v3 is no problem for him, but I love this play from ENCE. They've sent in 2 players towards tunnels. He doesn't expect a second one, and Sadix is going to ensure that BlameF doesn't get to any of his shenanigans. And ENCE, they have hit double digits, Dinko. It was 15 to 4, I believe, and now they managed to string 6 in a row. The Juggernaut. It's kind of come to a stop for the time being.
Yeah, it's going to be a halt. And you can see, like I said, getting a bit desperate maybe, going for that B rush call in the previous round. That's not exactly a sign of a very comfortable team right now on this attacking side. They're going to slow it down and go more into a default stance right now. And if Sadix, you know, already this is pretty good for him. A good recovery in the second half. But if he can do even more, that's going to really alleviate that early pressure on this player's shoulders, right? You're coming in. You want to show up in your debut game. You want to be able to at least host the same kills as your better teammates, right? If you go in and you don't perform at all, if you're losing your sight a lot of the time, then obviously that puts a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, damn, I have to really prove myself in this next map. But he is showing up, and that's a good sign. And now the aggressive play from Yampy coming through, and JKS triggered by that one.
And that's going to force Complexity to go for at least some play here towards Cat, trying to find some real estate to work with. Smoke towards mid. Sunny. 2 Augs. I don't think I've seen 2 Augs on a CD side in a very long time, Dinko, apart from the matchmaking game I played a couple of months back. As we do have Complexity looking to close this one out. 4 players, 4v5. Man disadvantage for them. They're going to be heading in straight towards 8 players. Dropping on down. Alu hasn't spotted him out, but doesn't matter. Sunny's there to save him. Alu's going to find one more, and it's a 2v4. Make that a 1v5, sorry, as Poison's going to be left alone. No one's left standing. ENCE. 11 rounds now. They won 7 in a row. In the previous one, they didn't drop a single player. The money's looking good. They're looking confident. They're hitting all the shots, and suddenly, Complexity, they're going to be wondering what's going on.
Yeah, Blair, I need some of your positivity, clearly, because ENCE just showed up. They've just turned it on right now, and it comes off that Sadix playing towards lower tunnel. If you remember back, 15-4 down, looking like Complexity are about to close out the game, and we just see Sadix kind of let loose, runs through the lower tunnel. The aggressive peaks up short from the rest of ENCE, and these plays have really freed up the ENCE team, and I think this is the exact way they have to play right now, right? They're not going to have a system in place. They're not going to have a way where you're going to use these 2 players efficiently. You want to be a little bit more free. You want to be a bit loose and really figure out the strengths of these players to see where they're going to fit into the team, and Sadix certainly being a playmaker for ENCE right now.
Absolutely. The fact that they are entrusting him that long position, he's been holding that alone like a couple of times, and he's been fantastic. And I love how ENCE are being proactive as well. The previous round, we saw 2 of them pushing up towards upper tunnels and immediately repositioning. As we do have a faster play coming in from Complexity, it's going to be the B pincer. It's going to force Doto back to the B bomb side. He's going to have to take a duel. He's going to find 1, finds 2, not able to get a 3rd. Nice attempt at a spray transfer, leaving it all on Yampy. He needs to stay alive here for as long as possible, but he's not going to find anything, Dinko. They might falter at the very end here to just the Deagles, and what a terrible way it would be to lose this map.
Well, Sadix wins the duel against BlameF. That's very important for their chances of winning this round. He was close to the right of Alu and was almost certainly going to get that kill. But now this retake, it's still looking unlikely. A smoke and a flash. Sadix on 11 HP and Alu with the AWP. Time is starting to tick. No Molotovs to clear out these positions. A good setup right now with JKS towards the back of the site, but he misses the shot. And Sadix in with the immediate headshot. Poison left alone, and he falls to Alu, and ENCE just keep on winning.
Time.
His time is so damn close here, and it's right down. But ENCE will take a 12th round. They will stay alive and play. It looked like it was done. It looked like Complexity were about to break the ENCE hearts with just pistols. But what a recovery from Sadix yet again. Those 2 kills, that's all him. The round, the retake, all on Sadix.
I guess everyone were going Sadix too initially in the chat when this guy came to play, but well, he's showing who the hell he is. He had, I think, what, 6 kills in the first half, right? I was 19 kills, 19 deaths. He's definitely woken up in the second half. In fact, everyone seems to have woken up on the side of ENCE here. And he did 3 more rounds, Dinko. It was 15-4 for Complexity. They were just a round away from just closing out map number 1 and heading towards Overpass. And ENCE making them fight, sweat for that final round. As Yampy spots a play towards mid. It's going to be falling on back. Not an aggressive stance from them. Complexity just might go for another mid to be take. They almost made it work with the pistols, and this time they got the guns.
A minute and 5 seconds. ENCE have battled back into this one. Bloody and bruised after their beating in the first half, but have somehow hung in there. Feels like a Rocky movie at this point, Blood. They're going to start gathering up in towards Catwalk. BlameF has picked up the first kill this time. ENCE will not be given that man advantage early to play with. And Complexity turn their attentions towards A. Alu needs to deliver on this AWP. He spotted the head across around the corner, but if he gets caught in position here, this is not going to go well. He doesn't spot the head, and he's caught by Config. Alu not getting anything done. Overstays his welcome, and now ENCE have to battle back into a 3v5.
This could be the end here, but Yampy's going to find one. Poison misses the shot. He spots a player crossing on Nova. BlameF and CD spawn. He's just him staying there. That's pretty much it. Poison, he's just playing deathmatch with the AWP. 3K, the no-scope to finish it off, but you can look at the faces of Complexity. They're not looking very happy. They were like, why did we make that game last as long as it did? It could have been over a long time back, but ENCE, my oh my, Dinko, they really put up a fight there.
Yeah, they should have closed that a lot sooner there, Complexity, but ENCE battling back. And again, it's all about just getting that server time with these new players, getting the players on the server, letting them feel comfortable. And Sadix, very impressive play.
Very impressive play indeed, and I want to see more from them. Like, I know it's their map pick, they would obviously be disappointed, but Overpass, it's a map that they haven't really had too much success on. I think the past 3 months they played it only 3 times, of which they've lost it every single time. So it's not looking good for them in Overpass, but you know what? At least they're showing signs of life. And that's something, you know, if you're an ENCE fan, you're going to be happy with just that.
Yeah, certainly. I think ENCE definitely have tempered expectations coming into this one. I'm looking forward to breaking this one down and really taking a deeper look into what went wrong in that second half for Complexity and seeing some of the positives for ENCE. We'll be breaking this match down after the break. Complexity get the win here on Dust 2, but a little bit labored there, I have to say. Blood, they probably would have liked to have taken it over the line sooner, but nonetheless, that is a massive positive for ENCE. That was their goal coming into this one, is to try and get as many rounds as possible against Complexity. You know, you've got to temper your expectations coming into this for a brand new team, and for ENCE, right, a team that's been struggling even with their first main lineup, the fact that they brought in 2 inexperienced rookies to the team, that this is never going to be a recipe for success when you're taking on a team like Complexity in the top 20. So getting rounds against them is all they could have hoped for, and Sadix, I feel like he was definitely a little bit of a surprise there.
He was. I love how confident he was in taking some of his duels, right? I feel like after he started winning, he got it to 2K or 3K in the second half. Yeah. He started to wake up. Everyone seemed to be activated. Doto, Yampy had a quiet game. Alu was doing his best. I feel like Alu was the only player who was doing anything in the first half. But yeah, you got to give kudos to Sunny and Sadix both really stepping up. For the side of Complexity, you were 15-4 up, and it came to a point where it was 15-12, possibility of overtime on the horizon. You can look at the cameras. They were not happy. They were not a happy team at the end of that game.
No, they definitely weren't. And I mean, the start from them was very solid after the first couple of rounds, right? They had a few shaky moments at the beginning of the game, but for the most part, when you got into those gun rounds, Complexity were looking unbelievable. You brought up the statistic. They'd only lost, what, 1 gun round in a very long time. 15-4 up. They were just looking incredible. And then the pressure kind of came off ENCE a little bit. Sadix started to make some space on his own, just running through lower tunnel, hoping he could do something wild with the MP9. And when you have that mentality of nothing to lose, sometimes that can be the performance you need out of a team, right? You just go in and you make these plays. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of Sadix on this team. A problem I do have with ENCE is that, you know, that B bomb site hold was pretty weak. A lot of their anchor setups look pretty uncomfortable, and I feel like that's something they've definitely got to work on going forward.
Oh yeah, they need to. But then again, I mean, it's not their map pick, right? It's Dust 2 was a pick coming in from ENCE. I feel like Overpass is going to be a much more comfortable map for Complexity, which is saying something considering how comfortable they looked on that first half of Dust 2. I love the constant re-aggression. I love the proactiveness. They were like taking fights towards short, immediately pivoting back towards long. They just kept ENCE guessing every single time. And for the side of ENCE, there's one thing they need to fix, at least on the T side from what we saw on Dust 2, is they need to be... Just look at how Complexity played some of those T-side rounds. Sure, they lost a few rounds in a streak, but they had a game plan in mind and they just went with it. ENCE were just waiting for like, it felt like over a minute altogether, almost every round, waiting for a pick, waiting for Complexity to make a move before they went for their move. And by that time, it was like, what, 20, 30 seconds remaining on the clock? How many rounds did we see them lose where there were like only 10 seconds remaining for them to get into the bomb site? So they need to work on that if they want to stand a chance in Overpass.
Yeah, the problems, I think, also came into when they got onto the bomb site. It came down to those post plants, and a lot of the post plants looked a little off. And there are things obviously will get fixed with time and practice. Also, a lot of the early rounds that you brought up, a lot of the mistakes being made from ENCE that kind of cost them control of the economy early on was actually mainly coming from the more experienced players, right? We've seen Sunny kind of making some interesting peaks when he had utility available that he could have got across safely with. And I think that's very important to take a note at. You know, a lot of these mistakes coming in from ENCE should be done. They're being done by players that should have those fundamentals locked in.
Yep, absolutely. Like there's a couple of rounds we saw as well where they're just dry peeking mid all by their lonesome. They're going for these flanks without being, you know, in step with the rest of the team. So many mistakes being made, and I wouldn't have been too worried if it was happening in Overpass, which is their map, which is not their map pick, but Dust 2 T side, come on. I mean, it's not that complicated when it comes to that map. So that's going to be a problem which they'd be looking to hopefully fix heading into Overpass. But we need to temper expectations as well. This is a new team. They need to, for them, it's more, I feel like, just trying to get some experience as a team, as a unit, as well as with a couple of these players like Dodo and Sadix. And Sadix, this kid, he's looking pretty sharp in the server right now.
Yeah, he's definitely showing he's got the chops early on, at least in that defensive half. We want to see more out of him on the T side. Of course, that will come when ENCE get the practice and when they get the server time in. And we are going to be going to Overpass right after a short break. I'm looking forward to getting into this one to see what Complexity and ENCE will bring us on Overpass after this.